want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Yes, what does happen with truth does not matter anymore. This is The Outsiders. I'm your host, Sean Sims, and with my superstar co-host, Marvin Doc Cheatham. Doc, how things going?
Well, I'm glad I woke up. I can't say I'm in my right mind, but praise the Lord that I am awake.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying, go Ravens, get you some.
Got that right.
Come this Sunday, you need to get you some. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, 6 years in a row in the AFC Championship game. The sixth year, they will be going down to the very hot, the relentless, the no-quit Baltimore Ravens, and they're going to get it done. And I'm telling you, baby, with that defense and the way Lamar's playing, I'm going with the Ravens. That they're going to put it on Kansas City. Kansas City is not going to know what hit them. Doc, how do you think things are going to go?
How about 30 to 27?
30 to 27. Okay. 30. Okay, I think with Kansas City's defense, I think we can put more than 30 points on the board. And I think with the Ravens' defense, I think we can hold Kansas City to less than 23 points. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to go Ravens 33, Kansas City Chiefs 23.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that. But
I think those are good numbers. Both numbers.
But we have a show. We got a show today. We got to talk about, and we will be covering the situation. What we have here is we have a situation, and we're going to be talking about him. Linda Batts is going to be on later, and we're going to be having mayoral candidate Keith B. Scott. I'll be giving him a call in just a little bit. But there's a situation going on where a senior black woman in the community, disabled, had some things happen, an event happen, which has been traumatic. It's out there. The mayor knows about it. The city council knows about it. And we're going to cover the disgraceful act by Jed Weeks, the director of Bike More, and his sins. Be sure your sins will find you out, Jed. So we're going to cover the disgrace. Doc, what do you think of that? I mean, we're going to cover it later.
Well, I'm calling out black men in general because we need to stand up. I did send an email to the black men that meet once a month and have been for the last 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. I challenged them to stop just eating and meeting. And this is one instance where I think black men need to stand up and say, no, sir, you're not going to attack one of our black women, and we're going to stay solid. But I want to call out 3 names in particular. I want to call out the mayor, which you're going to do. I want to call out the state senator, Antonio Hayes, because it's in your district. And I want to call out James Torrance. I want to call all 3 of you out. Now, I know Antonio Hayes, I know he's got a problem. It might be that our good sister is too dark-skinned, so he can't support her. But I think the mayor, the state senator, and the city councilman should be leading this charge and say, no, you're not going to do this to a black woman. And we're going to sit by and not say and do something. So I'm challenging all 3, but I know that my good Linda, she's complected like Aaron. She may be too dark-skinned for Antonio Hayes to get involved.
Ouch. Ooh, ouchie, ooey. Well, we're going to cover all this later on. And like I said, this is a situation, and it's gonna get dealt with. And the black men, because Jed's a Caucasian male, big bumpkin, big goofy looking bumpkin. That's what I'm gonna call him. And he thinks it's okay to stalk elderly, older adult, senior black women. And but we're gonna cover that in more detail later. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and give Keith a call. But first, before I do that, mayoral candidate Keith B. Scott, no relation. The mayoral forum. We had scheduled to hold it on January the 15th, Martin Luther King holiday, but because of the weather, it's going to be February the 1st. Be there or be a square. And the location is 6000 Loch Raven Boulevard at Friendship Baptist Church. Alvin Gwynn Sr., who's the dad of Alvin Gwynn Jr. Alvin Gwynn Jr. had a town hall event. Only Sheila was there. What an imp. And I spoke with Alvin Jr. about it. He had a town hall event with Fox 45 at Leadenhall Baptist Church, and I gave his dad a call because we're friends of the family, the Brown Sims family. My father was a pastor, actually helped Pastor Gwynn Sr. get into in the radio ministry, but gave him a call, saw what he thought. Doc and I talked about it. Remember Doc? And said, yeah, that's a good idea.
I think you are to be commended for reaching out to all of the candidates, giving them each one an opportunity to introduce themselves to the community, even though I'm very disappointed that the overwhelming majority of the candidates have not filed a financial report. And I think it's a misnomer. How are you going to run for office? You haven't raised any money. You're not reporting any money. Are you running to hear yourself talk, or are you running to improve the city of Baltimore? But I think it's commendable that you are, in fact, bringing on all the candidates. But that doesn't give us an opportunity not to say the things that need to be said. They got to do more than damn it talking.
You have to do more
than talking.
I agree. I've been a campaign advisor. You got to get out there. You got to get in front of people's faces. You got to go to houses. You got to go to community organizations. You got to make phone calls. You got to let people know who you are. And I know this, Doc. They have been telling me, and we're going to talk about this with Keith B. Scott, coming up, and who will be at. He said he will be at the mayoral forum event on February the 1st at 6 p.m. February the 1st, 6 p.m. Folks, you get to see. All of them were invited to participate, the candidates who have filed. All of them were invited. Thuru, I don't know about his situation. I don't think he's filed officially, so he may be off the hook on this one. But the candidates have filed. All of them have been invited to participate in this forum so that we can find out who they are, because the media, with all intents and purposes, the media has been blackballing the other candidates unfairly. I think it's completely unconstitutional. They have not been getting fair airtime, FCC regulations. They should be doing something about it. But he's going to be on. As a matter of fact, I'm doing all this talking. Let me just give him a call. Keith B. Scott.
Let's change the name of what the TV stations are doing, because I think the most negative word in the dictionary is black this and black that. Let's flip it and say they're whiteballing him.
Okay,
and the other candidates, they whiteballing them.
Could we say blue balling? I dare to go there. They could be blue balling, white balling. Let's use another color. You know, technically black and white aren't colors, but I don't want to get into all that. But I understand, Doc, exactly what you're saying. And what they're doing is wrong. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. This is not a banana republic, third world country. So let me go ahead and try to find Keith. Here we go. He should be waiting right now. Okay, we're giving Keith B. Scott a call. He's a mayoral candidate on the Outsiders, and we're going to hear what he has to say about his mayoral race. And hello, Keith. It's Sean Sims, Outsiders. You're on with Doc Cheatham and myself. How you doing?
How you doing today?
We're doing well.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Keith, to you. And first of all, you did confirm that you were going to be at the event for February the 1st, the mayoral forum event.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Because I told everybody that, and you get on and say, "Oh, Sean, I'm not going to be there. I'll be sitting here looking like a goofball." No, but Keith's going to be there, and why? Because I ask everyone this question. I don't. I kind of mix them up when I ask the questions and I do my interviews. But in your situation, Keith, why are you running to be mayor of Baltimore City?
Because just like everybody, I'm tired of all the injustices in this city. People dying every day for absolutely no reason other than other people's greed.
So you want to be mayor because of the greed of people, and I guess you're upset with the homicide rate?
The homicide rate, the homelessness, all the above.
Okay, so what's your plan? What's your plan once you get in, bro? If you were to get in, what are you going to do? The first 30 days, you get in. What are you going to do?
My first 30 days, it will be actually, like I said, people will actually start doing this now. But my first 30 days will be actually creating neighborhood associations and community associations. See, I definitely feel that the things that's happening to people in Baltimore, it comes directly because people are not being able to, communities is not being able to take care of their own communities. We always got to leave that to somebody else to take care of the problem that we should be taking care of this if we were strong enough to do that.
Hey, Keith, I want to be able to hear you better. Are you on speaker?
But, hold on, okay, I'm taking over speaker.
Yeah, because I have to tell my guests.
Hear me now? Hear me better now?
Okay, see, I can hear you better now. Okay.
Okay.
So with the community, what's going on, neighborhood? So you believe we should have more neighborhood associations, or we should have neighborhood associations in which way? Because we do have neighborhood associations and community associations. You think they should be improved? Do you think there should be? I got a good question. Now this begs a question, because I'm throwing this at you. But here's the thing. Okay, with the neighborhood, some of these neighborhood associations, they have people in the mayor's office. Who are part of the neighborhood association. Do you think that's fair? I mean, do you think that's a conflict of interest?
Well, see, you have people, you have neighborhood associations that don't reflect the people that's living in these neighborhood associations. Because I've been to so many neighborhood association meetings, and pretty much the people in that area they represent don't even know about it. You know what I'm saying? You would have a neighborhood association with 10 people, but they're supposed to be representing like hundreds. Okay, that's totally is not right. Because if you're a neighborhood association or a community association, you should be able to. You're supposed to be representing the people who live in that area. You're supposed to be trying to represent. So
Okay.
I don't think these. I think these neighborhood associations is doing justice to the areas that they're supposed to represent. So this is why I would actually start brand new ones.
Okay, but in particular, in reference to people who are working in the mayor's office or affiliated with the mayor's office, being standing within a community organization on the board or the president of the organization, VPs or whatever, having influence in the neighborhood association organization, do you think that's a conflict of interest? To have the mayor's people?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I was going.
That's definitely a conflict of interest because, in fact, like I said, these neighborhood associations, what they do is represent they serve not the interests of the area they are supposed to be representing.
So you're saying that because they're working for the mayor's office, that there's a high probability that they will be representing the mayor and not the neighbors?
Well, yes, all of them do. I mean, if you actually go to these neighborhood associations, you will find less than 30 people of an area that's supposed to be represented by hundreds.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to nail this point. You can have 10 or 15 or 20 people in a meeting at a neighborhood association, and there are several thousand people in the neighborhood. But if you have one person who is in a neighborhood association who works for the mayor's office, Don't you think they wield more power to be able to influence people and have the mayor's office controlling, in sense, what goes on in a neighborhood?
No, once you want, like I said, now you have people, okay, that call yourself neighborhood associations, just like I said. Okay,
yeah.
These are the people that have the influence for what they do, what they get. They only get the influence for that group of people that's part of that organization. Okay, the rest of the people in the neighborhoods don't even know about it.
No, I understand that, but Doc, help me out on this, because I'm trying to make a point about how influential the mayor's office. Okay, I understand the people, but you've got somebody in the mayor's office in a neighborhood association as a president or on the board. Doc, what do you think of this?
Well, I do know this, that there are communities that are, I guess, they're good friends of the mayor, and their communities get more and better. But I would say this, and I have two real good questions. One, what community are you a financial and active member of yourself? And I'm going to ask all of the candidates that. And the second is, did you file a financial report?
With the state, yes.
With the Board of Election, okay. So
With the Board of Election. Yeah, but I mean, why would you ask that question anyway?
The reason I ask it is because we just got another candidate in to run. Rick Maraja has said very clearly that when he looked at the financial reports, he saw that even the top two runners purportedly did not bring in much money. So my question is to all of the candidates: are you running to hear yourself talk, or are you trying to bring programs and projects to our community? And you can't do that just by just talking.
No, so but the whole point, why is that information even anybody else's problem? That is not having to do with candidate towards candidate.
Are you going to let me answer your question, or are you just going to ask a question?
No, I'm not going to answer your question because you actually brought up.
Okay, no.
You know what? It's wasted shit.
Oh, did you just curse? You just cursed us?
Keith,
did you just curse us?
Did you use the S-bomb?
Hello? Somehow to my phone.
Keith.
You actually bringing in questions to what?
No. Are you going to ask the question, or let me answer it? Are you going to let me answer the question?
No, wait a minute, hold up. No,
you're not going to let me answer the question.
No, wait a minute, hold up. You are representing another candidate, and you asking me questions?
No,
he's
not representing any other candidate.
No, you back at another candidate, and you asking me questions?
He's not representing any other candidate. He's
with Bob Wallace.
He's a co-host of The Outsiders, my show.
No, but he's representing Bob Wallace.
No, he is not representing Bob Wallace.
He got his sign on his car.
Well, just because no. I am a campaign advisor for Wendell Freeman. And I'm also advising, not as a campaign advisor in an official capacity, but I'm also advising several other people who are running as candidates. And I'm giving them campaign advice to help them. But I am formally the advisor for Wendell Freeman. But I have a show. So you have to be able to do your show, do what you do what we do as the Outsiders, and ask the questions. But Doc nor myself are not predisposed to not asking questions of everyone,
so why
including Bob.
Questions to try to influence me from.
No, he's asking a legitimate question.
Okay, but that's not up to him to ask that question.
Are you going to just keep running your mouth, or are you going to let us talk? Are we going to have I was not here to Cheeto. I am not going to shut up till you give me a chance to talk, okay?
Yeah, he's the co-host of the show.
If you don't know how to share the microphone,
you were asking questions.
Keith, he's the co-host of my show. This is my show. He can ask whatever he wants. I don't have a problem with him asking that.
I don't have to answer.
No, you don't. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Are you going to do that on the 1st, on February the 1st? Because everyone else has asked to answer the questions, been on the show. Keith?
No, because like I said, I feel I'm being attacked.
No, you're not being attacked.
I definitely feel I'm being attacked.
Well, you're going to be the mayor of a large... Wait.
No.
You're going to be the mayor of a large city.
I'm running from there. Ask me.
Okay, let me. You're going to be the mayor of a large metropolitan city, and you can't answer a simple question because you're too thin-skinned. Because you can't, and you want to be the mayor of a major metropolitan city, and you can't answer a simple question like that. Okay, hold up, Doc. Okay, Doc, I had turned the volume down, and so they can only hear me. So I turned it back up, so they can hear you now because I wanted everybody to hear what I had to say. You ask a legitimate question, a legitimate question, and he freaked out. And you want to be the mayor of a large metropolitan city, and you can't handle that cupcake question? That was a cupcake question. So he hung up. Keith B. Scott couldn't take the heat. Unbelievable. Hey, Doc, what do you think of that exchange?
I'm gonna suggest to him the same thing I did, which is to Swarovski. You need to step out the race. This is too big for your little britches.
Yeah, he couldn't handle that little cupcake question. Okay, did you, you know?
That question was asked of all of the candidates in writing. Writing, because he don't answer emails. I guess he don't read them. But that question was posed to all of them.
I am the campaign advisor. I'm helping him out. Of Wendell Hill Freeman, I'm helping him out. Okay. It's been out there. I've already told people. It's not even a secret. I've also told Bob Wallace and several other candidates. I'll mention Wendy Bazell. I've given her advice as well. Given her good advice. Helped her out with her campaign information. So I don't go, okay, I'm not going to help people out. If you want some advice, I'll give you some advice as a campaign advisor. But for him to say you're representing, I don't represent anybody. Doc doesn't represent anybody.
I was at a Sheila Dixon event just yesterday.
There you go. There you go.
Just yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her a legitimate question. And she knows that I'm supporting Bob, but I also said at the same time, our objective is to get Brandon Scott out of office by any means necessary.
Yeah, he is #1 on the S list. Keith did say the actual word. I'll say the word in German, Scheiße.
No. He cursed us.
Yeah, I heard him.
That's the kind of respect that he has. He cursed us.
Well, you know what? I got a problem with people cursing me. I got a problem with that. I'm going to do my job as moderator on February the 1st at 6 p.m. at Friendship Baptist Church for the Mayoral Forum event. I'll be moderator. I do my job. I'm not going to show anybody. And I told everyone, I'm not going to show anybody, Bob, Wendell, Wendy Bozell, Keith, any Uncle Wayne, Sheila, if she shows up with that yellow streak down her back, probably not. Brandon, if he shows up with his yellow streak, probably not. And whoever else shows up there, I'm not going to show anybody any favoritism. You're going to get asked the question straight up.
As you know, Sean, I'm sitting right in my park right now. 3 of the campaign signs that I had in my park, and I've invited all of them, including that little young guy that just got off and hung up the phone. I include all of them in the email I sent. We want to put all of your posters up. We want folks to know an election is coming. I have Bozell. I had 3 of her signs. She gave me 3. 3 of her signs are right now up in our park and playground. We're trying to educate people
exactly.
of all the various people that are running. So, young man, grow up. Grow up. Because for you to curse us and then hang up, that lets us know what you got as a man.
Yeah, that was pretty weak.
A lot of disrespect.
That was weak. It was disrespectful. And Keith B. Scott, he got asked a question by Doc about campaign finance. Has he filed a legitimate question? And the man freaked out. It was, what? How dare you ask me? Whoa, where'd that come from?
I also said to all of the candidates, Sean, a listening, and said to them that if you raise little to no money, the normal thing that happens, you get less than 3% of the vote. If you don't raise any money and put out information and flyers and go around, if you don't spend time and money in the campaign, you're not going to win. And I said that to all of the candidates that are running, that if you're not raising funds to finance your campaign, you're going to get less than 3% of the vote. And young man, I predict you get less than 1%.
Well, this interview's not going to help. Wow, that was a disaster. Could you imagine if he was mayor and they had an interview like that and they asked him about finances? And he, why are you asking me? And he freaked out like that as mayor. Could you imagine that? Wow. Okay,
Well,
Keith, bad luck.
The one thing I know about this younger generation, I think they are far more intelligent, articulate than we are, but they think they can talk their way out of everything. And sometimes you got to put your things down and say, I'm going to do something to make a change. But you don't make a change just by talking about it. You got to do something.
You actually do have to do
Stop all
something.
the damn talking and do something.
Well, here's what I want to touch on before we get in touch with Linda Batts in just a little bit. There are some things going down, not just in Baltimore. I'm aware of things that go on in Baltimore that relate to, how can I put this? People who are running for office kind of being edged not to run. There are some things going on right now, and I'm going to play this, and it has to do with situations with campaigns, and I don't know why this is going on. It doesn't make any sense. I guess I'm going to have to pull this up. But what's her name? Carrie Lake. I don't know if you know who Carrie Lake is. Carrie Lake was proposition. She's in Arizona. I believe she was running for the Senate, governor, and then I think she lost that. Then she's running for the Senate, and she was propositioned not to run. Doc, have you heard anything about this? This was wild.
No, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, her name was Carrie Lake, and she was propositioned to run. And I'm going to pull this up. And she was propositioned to run, and let's see if I can get this up here, to not run, and offered some money, I believe. Okay, here it is.
What state is she in?
A year ago, Carrie Lake took the stage at a conservative conference and made this accusation.
They came to my door and they tried to bribe me out of getting out of politics. It's really happened. I'm telling you this because this is how disgusting politics is.
Just this week, a leaked audio recording appeared to back up Lake's claim. Arizona's family independently obtained a copy of the conversation between Lake and Jeff DeWitt, the chairman of the Republican Party in Arizona. Here's a portion of the recording where DeWitt floated a potential job offer if she quits the Senate race.
The ask of me was kind of, so the ask I got today from back east was, is there any companies out there or something I could just put her on the payroll and give her to keep her out? And I said, well, what do you want to do? Whatever you need to do.
Lake has spoken about that conversation for months now. So we asked Lake, why is the audio coming out just now, nearly a year later?
I had not listened to the recording. To be honest, I recorded it and I never listened to it until a couple days ago. I happened to listen to it and I was sitting there with some of my closest friends and staffers, and I said, I want to listen to this video. I've never listened to it before. I kind of wanted to recall what had happened. And I listened to it, and it was even more horrifying than what I remembered.
Today, DeWitt announced he was stepping down as leader of the state GOP, just one day after the audio first came to light. Longtime political consultant Marcus Dellartino says what DeWitt did is not new in politics. What is new, the leaked audio gives the public a look at the inner workings of what sometimes happens behind the scenes in politics. That view may not be pretty to some, but Del Latino thinks DeWitt could have handled the conversation better.
I think he probably could have been a tad bit more tactful in the conversation, but...
Yeah, so you heard that. I heard the full audio. It's kind of hard to hear. It sounded like Carrie was eating potato chips or something. But yeah, you can go to YouTube and pull it up. Carrie Lake, okay, tapes basically a bribe to get her to drop out, get her not to run. And they mentioned something about cartels, and there are cartels in the East, and her life might be on the line, and she's talking about, I'm willing to die. I'm not gonna change who I am. This is my country, and I don't believe in what these people are doing. And they wanted her to sell out. Yes.
Some of the actions and attitudes by folks that are in high positions, including in elected positions, are saying and doing some things that, years ago during the baby boomer generation, you would find unimaginable. It's like having a state senator lie about whether or not a community supports an initiative or not. There are some things that are being done and said, and I know the issue that we're going to have with Linda later on today, it's unimaginable. But the problem is the question that I guess Sean Connery asked in The Untouchables, what are we prepared to do? And I'm saying, folks, when we find injustices taking place, we got to step up, especially as black men. We got to step up and right the wrong that has been done. And that's what I'm hoping those that are listening, especially us African-American men, that we need to step up. When the call is made, we need to step up and say, oh, no, you're not doing this to one of our women. And, it's sad that we've reached this point in time, that anything goes, but anything will go if you don't say anything about it.
That's true, and it's not just the GOP doing this mess. It's not just them. Let me go ahead and play another clip, and then we're gonna call Linda back. So let me go ahead and play another clip.
Situation they got themselves in, and people are expressing themselves on the internet. That's the beauty about the internet and social media, because you can tell the truth and go viral, and the Democrats can't stop this from happening, but they tried. Listen to what this young man said. Now, according to what people tell me, he's a social media influencer, viral sensation, at least with these topics. Listen what the Democrats try to do to stop him from telling the truth. And then I'm gonna go back and show you what he said that made them do this. Roll the clip.
So, for those of you who don't know, I am a critic of the current economy. And recently, I've been posting my thoughts on the economy, and obviously, it's not good. I'm not saying it's Trump's fault. I'm not saying it's Biden's fault. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. But obviously, Biden is president and the economy sucks. So, naturally the blame lies on him. And some of these videos of me being extremely critical of the government have gone so viral that I was literally featured at 7 p.m. on prime time on Fox News the other night. And this morning I got an email from someone claiming to be from the Democratic Party. And they said, what would your rate be to post positive videos about Joe Biden? And I replied back, honestly, I know nothing about the economy. I don't pretend to know anything about the economy. And I know nothing about politics, and I'd rather stay out of it. After all, I'm just a normal guy. I'm not a politician. I'm not a conservative or a liberal talking point. I'm just a normal person. So they responded back, we understand you're not a fan of the Democrat Party right now. How much would it cost? I was like, you know what? I wonder how bad they want me to post this. 50 grand. And they said yes. For those of you that don't know anything about social media, I have another account that's massive. And for brand deals on my 3 million follower account, I get 5 grand. They offer me 50 grand for a video on this account with only 400,000 followers? I'm not gonna lie, I was very, very tempted, but I didn't do it. What?
Now let me
Wow. They offered him, Doc, you hear that, 50 grand to post something positive about Joe Biden. $50,000. Allegedly. Now, this is what this young man is saying. He's a social influencer, and this, I guess people think they can just buy people. They can just meet with people or send them emails and just buy them to push their agenda, I guess. I mean, this is... What do you think of all this?
I guess, breathtaking by golly gee, $50,000. He has that much influence wherever neighborhood he's in, but it shows that we gotta step up and politics is a very tough, dirty game to some extent. Not maybe to a great extent, but to some extent. But if we don't say and do things about what's being said and done incorrectly, then we are almost as much to blame as anyone else. We got to speak out when we hear injustices. And I want to say very clearly, on the 20th of February, that is World Injustice Day. And we're going to picket the Bureau of Recreation and Parks on February the 20th. Because we know that an injustice has been done, that we have a black senator in pigmentation that has gone against his own black community. I don't know whether it's because we too dark-skinned or we poor, but for him to lie and say that the community doesn't support something, you begin to question why people do and say the things that they do. And but if we don't say something about it, then we are to an extent guilty as well.
Well, this Pumpkinhead, Antonio Hayes, Pumpkinhead. He's the political spawn of Sheila Dixon. She's the one that brought this Pumpkinhead in to all of it. So you can blame Sheila, Doc, for bringing him in.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily blame her, and I think someone had more of an influence on her, on him, than she did. And I'm thinking I like this young lady very well, so I don't want people to get the wrong impression. But I think Selima Talamarian, who was a good senator for us and a good delegate. She definitely did a lot of stuff for those that are in prison. But I think, I don't blame anyone for the misdeeds that are being done by folks. And I want to say from one man to another, Antonio Hayes, be a man and apologize for the wrong that you've done our community. You did not tell the truth when you said that our community was not in support of it, because there is a city document that we will report the commission today, and we told them what page it was actually on, and that was a document that they printed. And you're going to say they are also wrong, that they don't know and did not document that Matthew Henson voted and it's in a document that they wanted a skateboard park, and then you come out and say that's not true? Well, somebody's telling untrue, and it's you, Senator Antonio Hayes.
Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead, be a man for once. Once in your stinking, miserable life. Don't be such a low... And I do blame Sheila. I think she knew that this guy had a lack of character. I mean, birds of a feather flock together. 12 indictments, embezzlement, gift cards, low-income family, thief, stealing. So, I'm not surprised. So, yeah, I do. When people bring people into the arena and you look at him and say, I'm going to bring this person in. I'm going to take him under my wing and bring him in. Yeah, I do. I know Doc doesn't blame, but I do. That's where we differ in that, Doc.
Well, I don't think we as much differ. I think we have a different spin on what has actually happened. But we both agree that an injustice has been done. In this case, it is negatively affecting black kids that live in a 90%, if not more, black community. And Antonio Hayes, you do this to the black children of Baltimore City? How dare you?
Well,
How dare you do something like that?
Because he's a disgrace, another one. And let's get to doing something to black people. Antonio Pumpkinhead is allegedly a black guy. Now, let's talk about a white guy. Let's talk about Jed Weeks. I'm going to call Linda Bash right now. Let me give her a call. Let me go ahead and cue her up. I know she's waiting. So she can tell us what's going on with this Jed Weeks character of Bikemore. He's a director of Bikemore. These people. Okay. Okay, we're calling Linda Batts, Handling Community President. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Sean.
Yes, hi. I'm on with Doc. Linda. Doc.
Happy New Year, my dear.
Happy New Year to you again, sir. How are you doing?
We both woke up.
Linda.
That's the best stuff of the day, isn't it?
Linda, I want.
It's a blessing.
It is a blessing. I want to get right to it. Jed Weeks. Why is this man in front of your house taking pictures?
Well, let me say this, both Doc and Sean. Lots of people speak out every day about issues that matter to them on the news, in print media, and in other forums and spaces. They don't expect to be doxxed or have folks surveilling their homes and private spaces as a consequence. The impact of this, clearly for my family and me, has been catastrophic. You know, it's been catastrophic, and it leads one to wonder if an individual is capable of that. What filter, what judgment do they have in any regard? You know, you ask why. I'm a retired federal civil rights executive. I have a lot of experience in equity, engagement, discerning what constitutes a violation of the law when it comes to the way employees are treated and when it comes to the way the public is treated. And I have been very active with a number of different community leaders throughout Baltimore to address issues with respect to the rollout of complete streets and the infrastructure changes that have been made without community engagement. There's no secret about that. I stood with others at City Hall. I've been to meetings. I've been on the TV. Many others have been on the TV. Many others have been down City Hall to ask why I'm being singled out in the midst of a universe of people who have expressed concerns about this. Troubles me. As a senior black female, an elderly female, you know, with certain challenges that are before me and my family, I am extremely troubled by this exposure and by what potentially could be a threat. All I've done is to do what civil rights leaders are trained to do, and that is to identify the problem, to put it before the officials who have an obligation to investigate it and to rectify it, and then to try to conciliate it in the best interest of the taxpayers and the public. And that's what I've done. I've spoken out about the historical exclusion of neighborhoods, of ethnic groups from the table in this whole infrastructure change dealing with complete streets and its predecessor, the Bicycle Master Plan and the Bicycle Advisory Committee. These groups were stacked exclusively with interest groups, with people who were homogeneous basically in race and thought, and did not include the voice of the community. Decisions were made and foundation was established. And when it comes before the community, it's like Sisyphus pushing the ball up the hill. Communities now have to fight to try to get back to basics when they weren't on the ground floor with everybody else expressing their opinion and their opinion. As a former employee with the city of Baltimore, I conveyed this when I was inside of city government, and when I left city government, I continued to advocate for what I thought was fair and right and just for not only my community, but for the city at large. So, I don't know anything about this individual, have never had any personal engagement with him, except to the extent that he made some allegations against Mary Hughes when we invited him to one of our public meetings.
He did?
Accused her of things that were untrue, and because I was there with Mary when she was planning this, I could specifically speak to the misstatements and the untruths associated with accusing Mary of not providing him essential information to make a determination as to whether or not he wanted to speak in the meeting. So you asked me, why, I don't know, but I can tell you that the exploitation and the exposure here is obvious, and I'm extremely unsettled, and that's just where I am with this.
Well, I'm going to read something. He was the first person, when I put this out, he was the first one to get back to me. Yolanda got back to me as well on this topic, and so did Bob Wallace. And I'm going to read this email that went to the mayor, Mayor Brandon Scott, and some moron in Baltimore City voters put something in there talking about, well, Brandon can't, the mayor of Baltimore can't do anything about Bike More or something to that effect. And whoever that person is, hey, stupid idiot. They're associated, Bike More, Jed Weeks, the director of Bike More, they're associated with Baltimore City, you idiot. The mayor can call for them to get rid of him. Now, this is what Wendell Freeman sent this back to me. And he sent this out to Mayor Scott, forwarded it to me so I could read it too. And I looked at it. He sent it to the city council, some members. I believe Mary got it. I believe you did as well, Linda. And this is what it says. Good evening, Mayor Brandon Scott. For his actions of harassment and fostering an environment of intimidation and fear, reminiscent of the days of Jim Crow, I hereby demand that you, as mayor of our city, Baltimore, Maryland, call for the immediate termination of Jed Weeks from Bike More. His heinous action of stalking Mrs. Linda Batch and posting her home on social media is nothing short of the most illicit type of behavior perpetrated by a white male against a senior disabled black woman. As mayor, I would not allow this violation of civil rights or any other in my administration or any agency working with or associated with my administration. I do look forward to your response and attention to this issue. Best regards, Wendell Hill Freeman, mayoral candidate. He sent that to the mayor, and I give him credit for doing it. And he also, Linda, I believe he wanted to speak with you. I gave him your number because he wants to be front and center in this. Because he was the angriest of all the candidates I spoke with, and Yolanda was too. Yolanda was up there. She was hot. Yolanda Pulley. I didn't get a call from Bob, but he did send something out to, I believe, to Nick Mosby. But this situation, this young man has got guts, and he's a real man. And a lot of these people running, they're older than he is. All of them are, actually. And he's, what, 29, 30 years old? And to stand up like that? And this is what the other men should be doing. You should be following behind Wendell Freeman. You should be following behind Doc Cheatham. You should be following behind me. You should be following behind black men, who aren't going to take this kind of crap. This is Jim Crow. This is not Alabama. I put a video out. This is not Mississippi. Who the hell does Jed Weeks think he is? As a white man, he's going to stalk a black woman, a senior, disabled, go to her house, and then put it on social media to harass and intimidate. Like this is some kind of plantation. And I'm sick of it.
Well, and I just am overwhelmed with some of the responses that I've seen, and I'm extremely touched. But he gets that hubris from at least 10 years of sitting at the table with city officials, making decisions and chiseling in on changes in infrastructure where we didn't have any knowledge.
He needs to be fired.
He has an accumulation of standing in spaces where we haven't been. And that's where he gets it. You know, he sat on committees and sits on committees and sits in meetings.
That's really...
He haven't been invited to. And that gives him access to front row knowledge and information to plan tactically. And, you know, that's where all of that comes from in a city that is 65% black, where none of us have been at that same table to make decisions and formulate opinions about the future of our neighborhoods and our city.
So he feels as though that he can just go ahead and do whatever he wants. I'm entitled. I'm entitled as a white man. No, that's how I'm calling it, because I don't usually like going to race. I try to stay away, but when something just slaps me in the face like this, I cannot. As a white man, I'm privileged. I'm entitled. I can do whatever I want in Baltimore. I can stalk black women. I can talk bad and lie about Mary Hughes, another black woman, senior. And I can do this, and I'm okay. And as a matter of fact, now that I'm on a roll and on a rant, Sheila Dixon, let me talk about you, honey child. I haven't heard nothing from you on what is going on with this Jed Weeks. Nothing. I haven't heard Sheila Dixon, and she is a senior, and I haven't heard her say nothing. And I haven't heard Brandon Scott say nothing. And he's a new dad, wink, wink, still want to see the DNA test. And what are you going to say to your little boy when he gets older and grows up and he looks at this stuff in history and says, hey, Dad, there was some civil rights things happening in Baltimore. Some elderly black woman, she was disabled and she was stalked by a white man. Was he on your board? Why didn't you do anything about it, Dad? Why didn't you do anything about it, Dad? What are you going to tell him, Brandon? Oh, because Dad doesn't have any balls. Dad bought and paid for. I had no balls, son, so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything, so I just let it happen. Is that what you're going to tell your son, Ace? Huh? Is that how you roll? Is that how you do it? Sheila Dixon as well? I haven't heard anything from these so-called leading candidates and the daggone mayor of the city. And it's a disgrace. Nothing. And the Baltimore City Council as well.
This is a nonprofit organization that gets funding. Certain, Doc, you can help me with this, presumably for many funding streams. And good governance and the appearance of, you know, providing services in a manner that benefits all and that is not rooted in hatred or racism or anything like that is what we expect of leaders of any organization, let alone those nonprofits who benefit from the financial streams of big corporations and, you know, other sources. There's a certain decorum that you expect, and there's a certain way to resolve conflict and problems. I'm an expert in conflict resolution. I'm an expert in coaching. I'm an expert in civil rights. I'm extremely well-rounded, and that is the strength that I bring to these conversations, but it's ultimately that strength that has led to the divisiveness and some of the contentiousness around this, because folks want to plow ahead and do what they want to do without any feedback, and certainly without any feedback that points out the fact that there has not been transparency, there has not been engagement, there has not been equity, there have not been a lot of things that the communities don't know about. But as we are beginning to hear time and time again, many other communities around Baltimore City, economically disadvantaged ones and some that are advantaged, white and black alike, have concerns about not having a voice in changes that they ultimately would have to live with if they don't get an opportunity to have a seat at the table and express their voice. Well, this is what it's all about.
Well, how are you going to do that if you got somebody sitting at the daggone table who's stalking people? How are you going to do that if you got this kind of Jim Crow nonsense going on? How are you going to get at the table to do that in the first place if Jed Weeks is there and Jed Weeks is going to do these sort of things to people? So how are you going to be able to be at the table when you have a character like this, when you have this daggone dumb hillbilly sitting at the table, and how are you going to get any type of equity in Baltimore and Baltimore City, the mayor and the city council, and they allow this person to sit at the table after what he's done? And I'm going to get into the legality of this, people. As a matter of fact, Linda, as a matter of fact, Doc, let me go ahead and play this video, because this sort of thing, it seems to be going on for some reason or another where people want to do this sort of thing and think they can get away with it. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. I'm going to cue it up. So let's give a listen.
Right now, the man accused of stalking Grammy star Taylor Swift has been arrested again. This is his third arrest in just a matter of a few days. David Crow was in court this morning, but he was let go on supervised release. A short time later, police say he was spotted going through a dumpster across from Taylor Swift's home in Tribeca. His other arrests happened on Saturday and a Monday. According to police, he's been spotted outside of her home at least 30 times between November and January.
Wait. Let me stop that there, because I did a deep dive on this type of situation when people go in front of people's homes or take pictures, post on the internet, that type of any type of electronic communication to harass, intimidate folks. And I did a deep dive and a study of this. And Linda, let me ask you something. We know full well that this dumbbell went to your home, to your residence. We know he did that, but do you, or would you have you seen him there before, or have any idea how many times he's been to your residence?
I would not even know him if I saw him. I've never physically seen him.
Oh, wow.
I don't know his height. I don't know. The only thing I know is, you know, the image that I have most recently seen. But no, I know nothing about him. I don't know, you know, I would not be able to recognize him.
Well, he knows about you because he knows where you live.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a good question. You know, from what source did he get it? You know, how does he know where I live? How does he know anything about my situation and anything about me? All of that remains to be seen.
Exactly. I don't know what you're doing right now, but I have a few attorney friends. I'd be more than happy to turn you on to. I don't know how you're pursuing this. I know full well that if this had been somebody in my family, or my wife, or my mom, or anyone in my family, that I'd have a certain law firm crawling up somebody's ass. Now that's me. That's me. Right. So I don't know what your situation. I don't know what your situation is, but
I have a different strategy though.
Okay, Doc, let's hear it.
First and foremost, let me say this. One, I'm really concerned about what has happened here, but I want folks to listen and understand very clearly. I headed up 3 civil rights organizations. I had 8 death threats on me, and because I had 8 of them on me, I tried to shield my family and who was in my family and what was in my family from them. I kind of lost a good relationship, a close relationship with my family, because I needed to shield them away from what I was dealing with. I don't think we need to stop at just looking at this instance. This guy y'all are telling us is the head of Baltimore, or holds a prominent position. Well, the way you go at things, you hit them where it hurts them the most. We need to ask for the removal of Baltimore from Baltimore City. We just don't need to start with him, because he might be an example of the rest of the folks that are with Baltimore. If he's a head person at Baltimore, why are we stopping with him? We need to remove all of Baltimore. They basically are doing an injustice. They're trying to get white folks to come into black neighborhoods. We know what the end result is. They want to come back and take over what they left. And I'm saying we need to do something. When you hit them in the pocketbook, then you know you've hit them. And I'm saying, let's not just do something a result of him. If he's the head or one of the heads of Whitemore, why don't we ask for the entire removal of Whitemore?
I agree wholeheartedly. Doc, that's why you're the superstar co-host. Because you're right.
Doc understands that you have a head and that you've got a governing body. And the extent to which the governing body has assimilated all of these cultural beliefs, stereotypes, and assumptions, and is willing to act on them to perpetuate and continue
Jim Crow.
that kind of, with or without him, is what Doc is referring to. Is it institutional? And one has to assume
looks
that
like
perhaps
it
it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have to assume it is. And
yes.
I'll give you an excellent example. When the Baltimore City Department decided, they've done this recently, but when I was recruited to become the NAACP president, the major issue was that they had an all-white class and the president of the NAACP was endorsing it. And, what I said, we don't necessarily need to go against our NAACP president. We need to get behind closed doors and tell them you need to do more and better than taking a picture with the white masters that they had an all-white bar class. I said, but we got to go further. We got to say that is a problem with the bar department. Not just one or two individuals. We got to paint with a broad brush when injustice takes place. And I'm saying, I don't mind telling folks. I sent an email to the head of the black organization of males, and I think they're an outstanding group that are meeting and eating every month. But I challenge them to do something more than eating and meeting. Stand up as a major group of black men that have been meeting about 4 years every Saturday and say something, damn it.
Exactly.
Don't just sit there and tell us you're eating and meeting every month. We want you to say something.
Show that you got a pair. Okay, don't sit. I mean, it's nice you're having the nice meals and all that's nice, and you're talking what you're going to do, and then this is discrimination, and we need to do better, and then the youth violence and our black young men and all that stuff, and then you have something like this happen. Where are you? Where are you now? Because I haven't heard from you. From you.
Absolutely. It goes back to something I've said a long time ago, and that is equity is a verb. It's not just the noun. It's about the action that is tendent to righting the wrong, to overcoming the perpetuation of institutional biases that we see still today, the exclusion that we see still today, and the willingness to undermine the courageous visionaries and people who understand what's going on and are trying to reach out and allow other people to join in with them to help educate and further spread information about what's going on. We cannot have suppression and silencing in this arena. And in 21st century America, I'm just absolutely astounded that we're even having a conversation about something like this, let alone with someone like me, who is a known civil rights executive, expert, recognized in D.C. for my talent, renowned for my talent, but in my homeland of Baltimore, dismissed and dissed. I am just so troubled. I can't, I have to take a break.
Well,
let me paint a broad brush and be fair.
Okay, Doc.
I want to say this as well. I reached out to the Black Men group and asked that they speak out. I reached out to men in general that we speak out. But then I'm going to take it close to the home because, I'm not only saying to groups, I'm not saying I'm happy that things are happening to middle-class blacks who have had it very nice for a long time. but I know I experienced this about 4.5, 5 years ago, when black folks from Ashburton took the dirt from their neighborhood and put it in the neighborhood next to mine, and everybody was in denial. What I'm saying now, you middle class black folks, now you gotta step up and say something, because you've allowed injustices to take place because it didn't knock on your door. Well, guess what? It's knocking on your door, middle class black folks, Ashburton. Now you need to say something instead of sitting back saying, "Oh no, we didn't take no contaminated dirt out of our nice, rich black neighborhood and put it in a poor black neighborhood." But I had 4 of the leaders of your black neighborhood come and see it for themselves. You know what I'm saying? We ain't heard nothing from y'all about that since. So I'm saying I'm a strong supporter of us trying to stop this Baltimore thing. But I'm saying also to you middle class black folks that are in Ashburton and surrounding areas, damn it, say something yourself.
Yeah, you got to speak up. I mean, this being quiet and go along, get along, and we're from Baltimore. So, well, see, my family on my mother's side is from Philadelphia. And when my Philadelphia family, they see what's going on in Baltimore, and Philadelphia ain't perfect by any stretch. But when they see what's going on in Baltimore, they're disgusted. They're like, what is going on in Baltimore? How do people let them get away, and New York as well? How do they let them get away, the people down there who live there, the residents, the citizens, the voters? How do you let your government get that corrupt and for them to get away with what they get away with in Baltimore? We're the joke, we're the butt of jokes. Dave Chappelle is cracking on us jokes. It's so pitiful. It's ridiculous.
Y'all can't say nothing in Philadelphia. Because I remember, and I was there, I had a convention that I brought into Philadelphia. And I had one of the worst weekends I ever had when Philadelphia bombed its own damn people.
Well, like I said, Doc.
And the mayor came to my convention and spoke, and I was so angry and upset. I said, why the heck are we allowing this mayor who bombed his own people come and speak at my event?
And that's the point. You're making the exact point. Philadelphia ain't perfect. They got all kinds of nonsense. But even with that craziness in Philly, they're still looking at us. Oakland is, other places, LA, all over. They're looking at us, going, yeah, that's how bad it is when cities like Philadelphia and Oakland and other cities can make jokes about Baltimore because of the disgraceful leadership we have. And the people, you're right, Doc, the middle class, lower middle, whatever, upper middle, whatever, they need to stand up and say, you know what, this is a line in the sand. This is a line in the sand that's been drawn with this Jed Weeks Act. This is a line, and the contaminated soil and everything else that's been going on in BG&E, backdoor deal that was done, everybody's bills going up, more money's coming out of your pocket, and all this stuff is going on. This Jed Weeks Baltimore thing is a proverbial line in the sand where black men, I'm starting with you because I'm one of you, need to stand up and say, there is no way we're going to be looking like Alabama or Mississippi and have our black women, our seniors, and disabled be treated like this. Be treated like this.
When we brought some of these issues, as we have publicly done so, and Doc was there with us, you know, and you were too, Sean, about the exclusion and about the infrastructure and about the lack of transparency, and wanted to meet, you know, with officials to talk through these issues and to try to work through the challenges that were before us and, you know, the city. We were denied such an opportunity.
Yes.
And the only way that we had a one-on-one chance to even dialogue with DOT the other day was through Council President Mosby's facilitation of it. They denied us the opportunity to meet. Yet you've got folks in interest groups who have a seat at the table, cell phone numbers and access. They get response to emails, and we don't get any feedback.
Exactly, because they are entitled. You are nothing. You people in Baltimore City, you voters, citizens, they look at you. They're elitists. You're nothing to them. As a matter of fact, this carbon dioxide green agenda business, because of the cars and the carbon dioxide, all you people are nothing but carbon dioxide ventilators. All you do is push out and push out on this earth carbon dioxide. That's what human beings do. They breathe in oxygen and they breathe out carbon dioxide. So you're looked at as, hey, look, you breathing out carbon dioxide like the car. You are looked at. It's a green agenda. It's a Gaia, Mother Earth worship. It's a green Mother Earth Gaia. Read about it. Read about the religion. It's a religion to them. It's Gaia, G-A-I-A, Mother Earth worship. And these one lanes going down 28th Street. And I'm like, what is this? These little cone things up, white little stick things up everywhere, one lane, and this is what they want to do because it is a Gaia worship, and they're willing to take whip on the backs of the black community and whip you in line, tell you what to do, post your home, put you in a threatening situation. And that's the sort of thing that used to be done in the South, Jim Crow, where they would go to people's houses, except they would burn crosses on their houses on the lawn, and they would burn the houses down, and the people were in fear. That's what is going on in Baltimore now, and Jed Weeks is comfortable. He's comfortable doing it. And that's the key. He's comfortable in doing it.
Well, absolutely. Doxing and the use of media to intimidate, interfere, and exploit is the 21st century equivalent to what you just described. And so you're absolutely right.
Well, what I found that the issues that are affecting us in urban areas such as Baltimore City are beginning to impact the rich and the not so rich. And I'm telling folks, this is an indicator that we need to come together on the issues that affect us. When I look at, the water contamination, that we've had water contamination done seriously in our area that we had to stop drinking the water at all. But the affluent neighborhoods didn't say anything until it hit their neighborhood. The transportation issue. Well, nobody's talking about we got a transportation department that allows white neighborhoods to get transportation for free, and we don't get it as poor blacks. The fact that you got houses now burning up because of break-ins or whatever you want to call them. Well, they hit Stricker Street a year and a half ago, and 3 fire people died. Well, we brought that issue up 6 years ago in our neighborhood, telling them that the drug addicts from Penn North were coming down to our area and taking over the house. Folks don't seem to care until it hits them. And I'm saying, I'm not applauding that it's happening to all of us, but I now think some of these middle-class white and black folks now have an understanding what we've been going through for 40 years. Injustice and equity, and it's time we all come together and fight the issue together. Because you got a transportation issue, don't mean we don't have one. Why don't we all understand that if there's an issue affecting us, more than likely now it's affecting all of us, and we need to come together and fight together.
Well, we need to fight first. We need to focus on Jed Weeks and Bite More. And the reason why is this, I'm not going to let it go. I'm a big MMA guy, martial art guy, okay, and I'm not going to let it go. And I got a chicken wing. And that chicken wing, I'm not letting that whole go. And it's Jed Weeks and Bite More. Oh yeah, there's other issues. Oh, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. But what he did, this is crossing the line big time. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to read something real quick. This is called Section 3-804 of the Criminal Law Article, State of Maryland. Under Maryland law, it is a crime to maliciously, quote, engage in a course of conduct through the use of electronic communication, end quote. That is alarming or seriously distressing to another if such conduct is undertaken with the intent to harass or alarm the victim. Now, like I said, I got lawyer friends, Jed. See now, you want to use electronic communications. You want to post people's houses on a daggone internet, and then you want to brag about it. Then you want to talk trash on top of that. That's what you want to do, Bike More. That's what you support, Bike More. Because Sean Sims is not letting Bike More go. I'm not letting that go. I'm not letting what you did go. Period.
We applaud you, Sean.
And I need other people to be doing what I'm doing. Don't sit there and go, oh, gee, look at what Sean. I see the views going on YouTube. I see the views going on. And those YouTube numbers, folks, they're a whole lot higher than what you're seeing YouTube saying. Trust and believe. They're a whole lot higher than those numbers. And I see what's going on. But what black men need to do, and I'm starting with you and I'm going to stick with you, what black men need to do is you need to stand up and you need to do something about this by sending communications to the mayor of the city, Baltimore City Council, and to say enough is enough, to Bike More, specifically the Bike More, what is it, Goldsecker Foundation, whoever else is funding these knuckleheads. And you need to say you need to get rid of Jed Weeks and Bike More, period. Doc, I agree. Bike More needs to go. The city should not be doing business with them, with taxpayer dollars on top of it. That's where I am with that.
Well, one thing you mentioned, and we need to call it like we see it, we have more black lawyers now than we ever had. But I would say 45 years ago, the black attorneys, you didn't have to look for them. They came and reached out to our community when we had issues. And I'm saying with all these black laws that we have, including the Monumental Bar Association, yes, I'm calling y'all out.
Call them out.
We don't hear or see from any of you.
Where are you? What are you doing? Are you good for nothing? Or actually, are you waiting for something to come up for you to get involved? What are you doing? What's going? Where's NAACP? Where's Kobe Little? Where's he? Where's the NAACP? I called him as well. He got the email. He got the video of the Alabama brawl. Lesson has not been learned in Baltimore video. Where is Kobe Little? Doc, where's Kobe?
I was in the NAACP branch meeting with them. I guess it was 2 days ago. All I can say is NAACP, as a past president, I'm very disappointed. I think y'all need to do more and better, not just talking, but you need to get actively involved. We shouldn't have to call you on issues like this. You should be knocking on our door asking, what can we do to help? But we have some other civil rights organizations. We have some unions. And I'm saying this is a talking generation. And I'm saying the difference with us baby boomers, I think we're to blame for a lot of what's going on because we had it too easy from our parents. But I'm saying, folks, let's stop talking so damn much and let's actively do something. Let's do something right now. Let's drop our buckets where they are. And we're going to say, as a community, starting with the men, we're not putting up what has happened to our dear sweet leader, Linda. And we want to do all that we can, starting with getting that group out of Baltimore City, the Biltmore group. They need to go, including their leader.
Great, Doc, that's exactly what needs to happen. Linda, I'm going to give you the last word.
The last word is that I am, I'm in full support of doing whatever needs to be done to not only redress this situation, but prevent future recurrences. You cannot have this kind of maliciousness wielded throughout the city towards people who are trying to do their best for the city, working hard to try to improve the city. You cannot have them victimized by people whose agenda is contrary to the welfare of the citizenry of Baltimore. You can't allow that to happen.
No, we can't. We cannot allow that to happen. And
we cannot.
Mary for
we
mayor,
can't.
Mary for mayor, Mary for mayor, and Linda for governor.
I tell you what, things would be a lot better.
Well, and I want to end with, you know, like I said, Doc has always been very profuse in pointing out a lot of the wise words of Dr. Martin Luther King. And Dr. Martin Luther King said, and I quote, "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way." This is an opportunity to come together to either be or to do small things in a great way.
Well, on that note, don't forget February the 1st. Do not forget February the 1st. Of course, we have the Chiefs coming up. Beat the crap out of them and go to the Super Bowl. But February the 1st, the mayoral event at mayoral forum event at 6000 Lock Raven Boulevard, Friendship Baptist Church, 6 p.m. And thank you all, Doc, Linda. Thanks for everything. Doc, great co-host. Linda, thanks for everything, for letting us know, and we'll be praying for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. And take care, all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that's another episode of The Outsiders and what's going on with all of this situation with Linda Batts, with the men, the black men in Baltimore. Get up, get it done, show you got a pair, and don't let this Jim Crow action and this harassment of a black woman, elder black woman, disabled, do not let this go unanswered. Anyway, take care.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.